Ever thought about running a nursery? A life under the sun amongst those flowers. Over the next 12 months, we'll show you the nursery year. The happy, sad, depressed. We'll give it to you straight. I'm Malcolm Hock. This is Eggleston Hall Gardens. So you want to run a nursery? We shall see. Must be a hard life. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Straightforward Waterless, dark leaved, beautiful pink flowers. Flowers for about 2 months of summer. Actually, that's a lie. That is a big lie. It flowers in part of June and in part of July, but it sounds better if we say it flowers in June and July. Never mind. Still flowers for a good wodge of the month. There we are. Gets to about 5 foot. Straightforward, no fancy names. Waterless Florida Potager. At the moment, we're trying to get as much irrigation done as possible. All of these plants down here, if the cameraman can show you, they're all on drippers, so we have to put these drippers in. And it's a bit of a fanny on. But they're all isolated lines. We put a line in and we can isolate each line. Each line does a row of plants. I'm impressed by the length of your hose, John.
Well, I do like a long one.
Watering is the most boring of jobs. It's probably one of the most hardest jobs in the garden to get right. It's easy to water, but hard to get right. So you put vegetables in there, John, as well, in the fruit cage?
Well, I've had to put some brassicas in this year, the brassica family, cabbages, cauliflowers, sprouting, kale, all that type of thing, because if I don't, unfortunately, cabbage white butterflies get in there, lay their eggs, and the caterpillars eat everything, and if it's not the caterpillars, then it's the flipping pigeons, unfortunately, so yeah, got to cover them up, and now we're looking healthy.
Yeah, yeah. Oh well. It's nice to see a fruit cage, isn't it?
Yeah. Especially when the fruit is there, yeah.
So you put a dressing of muck on around the asparagus?
Just around the asparagus to feed it, yes. Yeah. It hadn't produced anything worth eating for about seven years since it was planted. So last year we weaved a bit of magic with it, and we had some edible crop this year, and with the manure next year should be plenty to eat off that.
Yeah, you put some canes in.
Yes.
One of the problems I've found with asparagus is that the foliage just bends over in the wind and breaks off.
And breaks off, yeah.
So then it doesn't feed.
Doesn't feed the root system, it weakens the plant, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a good idea.
Yeah, we've been through the strawberries, taken the covers off, weeded them all. Plenty of flowers there, so.
It's funny when they get frosted, isn't it? How they get black-eyed.
Yeah.
It's should be a fair crop though.
There'll be a fair crop on that one. That always crops well. Yeah. Yeah, I've even planted the yard-long magic beans as well.
Magic beans.
The magic beans.
Right.
Yeah, they're a climbing bean, which I've placed here onto these onto this small wigwam here, which is about 8 foot. And they're the bean itself is not a flat podded bean; it's a round bean, like a French bean. But the interesting thing about them is they grow up to a yard long each pod.
God.
So one bean should feed a family.
That's really interesting, and I like to see that you've actually cut them out of the wood, the poles, rather than using just bamboo canes. It just looks nicer, doesn't it?
It's a bit more rustic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is meant to be a potager garden. You've certainly made it look that.
Yeah.
And these?
Got standard runner beans to grow up the poles in the centre, and then around the outside of there we have the dwarf French bean. So we've got 2 lots of beans in each bed. And it makes quite a nice cover when it's all filled up.
And the hut is coming on.
Yeah, it's coming on beautifully. Even weeded the centre around the poles, ready for something to plant in.
I wonder what we could put in there. Just climbing up the middle.
Yeah, something interesting, something that's probably edible.
Yeah.
In that sort of garden.
Ponder on that one. The trouble is, of course, it's hard enough keeping your customers in it, I mean. But if you put something thorny on there, they're going to walk past these and scratch themselves.
Well, that's it. Put a big loganberry up there or something. Yeah, they probably will.
Spuds are doing well.
Spuds are excellent this year, absolutely superb. It'll be a good crop. Yes, I've even got some early ones in pots we're growing early, so as soon as they come into flower they'll be ready. We've got plenty of lovely bright light Swiss chard here with the bright colourful stems. You can really see the colour in those stems.
Oh yeah.
And they'll grow to 3 foot tall.
And there's some gold. There's a golden one.
Yeah, there's the yellow ones there, goldy yellow.
They're ornamental.
They are. You can put them in the flower borders as well, and that'll turn out to be the white one. This one, when it comes up, it'll be a white stemmed.
Yeah, I was told that you can use the green leaves and then you can bundle up the big, thick, fleshy midribs and use them like asparagus.
You can do. What you tend to do with the stalks is you cut them into slices and chunks and stir fry them, and they're excellent stir fried. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what we do. I've even planted your sweet peas or your sweet corn, sorry, over the side there.
It's coming on all right.
It is, and it's an interesting crop, sweet corn, because many people try to grow it and wonder why it doesn't produce corn. And as you probably know yourself, you've got to plant it in a block because it pollinates itself.
Yeah, and you can just go along and knock it with your stick and the pollen goes.
It pollinates and you get plenty of corn.
Yeah.
Just grow it in a straight row and you won't probably get any corn at all.
You've got some radishes down there.
Yeah, got some radish. Yes.
When I was a garden boy, we used to sow radishes in between the parsnips. We used to put the parsnips in stations about 9 inches apart, maybe a foot apart.
Yeah.
And then a little crop of radishes in between, because the parsnips used to take such a long time to germinate,
right.
And you never knew where the bloody rows were. So by
well, what I did that in my apprenticeship. We used to put, like I say, a foot at each end of each row,
Yeah.
and they used to pop up and you knew where your row was. Yeah.
And the onions are looking good. So we'll have to come back here and film this.
Yes.
Well, actually, it would be good to film it. Oh look, there's loads of butylons.
The butylons are doing brilliant.
Yeah. Those little cuttings from last year.
Yeah.
I don't want to sell them. I want to get...
Decent sized plants.
Yeah, you get a decent sized plant and I get more money for it. And there's the white one over there.
Yeah.
Tennant's White. I nicked the seed from that from... I'm not going to say where.
Not on film.
I think it's incriminating yourself. I think these hostas need weeding, but that's... We propagate hostas about now, midsummer, well, coming up to midsummer, and these were done last midsummer, and they're doing really well. They just want weeding out. Some nice varieties in there. Sorry, John, we were doing vegetables. Just looks lovely in here. It's, you know, people love wandering about.
Well, I think we've got people wandering about in the distance anyway already.
Oh no, I'm going to fuck off now because I don't like the people. Excellent. I've got nothing to say. I'm too old for this. It's fucking knackering. Just an update on the willow that we cut back. The stalls, I think we did it in March. Well, I know we did it in March. There we are. It's now June, the 11th of June, and that there, you can see it's just starting to produce. These lovely stems will just get longer and longer. They grow very, very quickly. We'll look at it in a few weeks more, and You can see that's the old stall. Let's take you up here. This is an interesting tree. This is a medlar. And when it's got some fruit on, I will explain to you what it's called. Don't know if it's going to have any fruit this year. The French call it the cat's arse. Obviously with my juvenile humour that appeals to me. It's because the fruit, it looks like a cat's arse. We're looking at these stalls that we cut back with the chainsaw. A bit weedy here. We need to get in here. There we are. That was young and cut back, so you can see the slightly more vigorous than the other one. Here, coming up through the weeds, are the Kesselrengii and the green-stemmed Flavaramian cornus. The red-stemmed cornus here. These are just starting into growth. As I say, just excuse the weeds. Can't do everything at the moment. Running a nursery is a strange business. Irrigation system is packed up, so we're having to water everything with very, very low pressure. So at the moment we're doing shifts, trying to get everything watered. I'm also praying for rain, which should be coming tomorrow, hopefully. These apple trees, they're about head height, about 6 feet. This is done, I've trained these by summer pruning. When I came here 20 odd years ago, these were like huge, and I reduced them right back, and now they're absolutely lovely. They're head height, and it's all done by summer pruning. People say, oh, you got to have a dwarf rootstock. It's a load of bollocks. You can get away with a 106 semi-dwarfing rootstock if you prune it and you summer prune it to shape. You can't grow it in a pot, but you can keep them controlled. And this up here is an A to Z of apples up this path. There is one apple here for every letter of the alphabet. We took some liberties, or I took some liberties with X. I used Xmas instead of Christmas for Christmas per main. But other than that, there's one letter, one apple for each letter of the alphabet. And they're really, really looking good this year. They were glorious when they were in blossom. Some people thin their apples, I don't bother. They thin themselves. It's called the June drop. And what happens with the June drop is that the tree will lose some of these buds. It won't produce more apples than it can cope with.
When the soul has been torn from me, and I am bleeding. My heart has been rent from me, and I am crying. All the beauty around me fades, and I am screaming. I am the last of the great whale, and I am dying.
There's a bloke there with a trolley load of plants. Oh, it's just a beautiful day. Look at the wisteria. Now there's the thing. This is our herb garden. The rosemary is looking gorgeous. Look at that rosemary. And those chives, they're fantastic. And in amongst there is the crispum, the twisted mint. Look at this. Looks, I should say to customers, it looks really interesting, but to me it looks like it's got a disease or something. I ain't gonna say that. There's the wisteria, just going over. The scent coming off of it is unbelievable. There's some artichokes. This is a bicoloured wisteria, blue and white, predominantly white by the look of it. These artichokes are French artichokes, and it's not their fault, they can't help it. But apparently they really are some of the tastiest. Did I just make an anti-French remark? That's terrible. Nothing wrong with the French. You cheeky little bastard. You have your pizza. He's even flying off now, he's coming back for seconds. You little twat. He's bloody coming in for some and all now. Bloody song thrush. Him sitting up there. Yeah. Right. He came in the other day. I was sat here in the evening. He came in here, right? I left a can of Coke on there. He stood on the by the can of Coke and shat on it. What sort of gratitude is that?
He didn't shit in it, did he?
No, he shat on the side of the can. Bugger. And it sort of put me off from drinking it. Even though I never went in it. I fancy it.